Your customers are craving a great tasting, authentic pizza experience. That's why we offer Primo Molino Neapolitan style flour, an affordable, high performing flour that's a great alternative to imported Italian 00 flour. It's milled right here in North America, so you can always count on authentic crust texture and taste without the imported flour price. Using an imported flour today? Check out ardentmills.com to request a sample and try it for yourself.
Welcome to another episode of Checking In With. I am Executive Editor Denise Greer, and I'm here with Creative Director Josh Keown.
Hey Denise, how's it going?
Hey, it's a Monday here right now, so yeah, doing good. Overcast
Monday.
day, great Monday. So we have a great guest on the show, actually two great guests on this show. We're on the line with Ed Bosco and his son Evan, and we're going to talk about Verde Pizza in Baltimore, Maryland. So how are you, Ed and Evan?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. You say, how are we? You know, that depends on the day. Some days we're really doing good, and other days, you know, when the dynamic changes in a particular, in the city, whether it's the amount of people that we can bring into the restaurant or the weather changes, you know, we're always, we have to change our presentation. So that's a really confusing part of what's going on for us on a very, very regular basis.
Where are you guys at currently as far as dine-in and you know, outside dining, all that?
Sure. The city of Baltimore is allowing us to use 50% of our capacity. So we have about 136 seats. So half of that is what we use. And we've taken some tables out of action. We actually removed them from the flow of the restaurant so that we can increase our spacing. Outdoor dining up until this last weekend, we were able to dine in Baltimore City outside pretty nicely. But the weather's changing. You know, we're going to be into the 40s next week. And I think outdoor dining is going to be escaping us. So so that's a part of our presentation that we're not going to be able to utilize in terms of capacity. So that's where we're at. We're at 50%. And the guests, I think, are the biggest obstacle to reaching our limitation of 50% capacity, because a lot of folks just don't want to dine inside. You know, personally, I've been to restaurants, I've dined inside, I've dined outside. I feel pretty comfortable with what restaurants are doing in terms of sanitation and spacing, et cetera, but many people aren't. So that's been a concern of ours, is that when we actually lose outdoor dining, we're going to be challenged with people wanting to come into the restaurant. Hopefully the MO changes and people get a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing and what other restaurants are doing. You know, but the bottom line is there's reluctance out there, so it's a challenge.
Yeah. Now, did I see that you actually right when this all happened in March, you expanded your outdoor dining and did a kind of a renovation of your outdoor dining area? Kind of, how are you now shifting, now that we're shifting to indoor and takeout? You know, what kind of mindset are you getting into to kind of transition that back into, okay, I've got to really focus on the carry out and delivery model?
Well, so Baltimore shut down on March 16th. That's when we had no indoor dining. And what it prompted us to do, and Evan was a part of this for sure, is we launched our own website for takeout. So you could go to verdepizza.com, you could order takeout, and if you felt inclined to get up off your couch and walk down the street, you could actually come here and pick up the food, as opposed to going with third-party deliveries, which are very expensive for most restaurants. But we shifted to exclusively for March, April, May, and June, takeout and delivery. And that kept us afloat, because at the end of the day, we're in the pizza business. And I think that's the quintessential takeout and delivery food.
Right.
So we were able to shift to our own website for pickup, and then we use Grubhub and Uber for delivery. And we were able to survive in those very, very lean months. So actually now, if we lose outdoor dining, we're actually going to be going back to our old school model, which, you know, evolved in March, April, and May, where it's going to be mostly takeout and delivery. And we'll get a few people to come in, and that's always great, because it's good for our servers, but it's also, you know, encouraging that, you know, some of the reluctance is changing. Mm-hmm. But you know, we'll be reverting back to mostly takeout and delivery once the weather gets colder, and as people get more comfortable, then they can come in. Hopefully, the city government will say, you know what, you guys can go to 75%. I don't think we'll get to 100% in this off season. But what I'd like to see the city do, what I'd like to see some of the municipalities do, is allow larger groups to come in. For instance, I have a 9 top tonight, and they just called. They said, well, we were 8, can we make it 9? I said, you can make it 9, but we can't put more than 6 people at a grouping. So can we do 5 and 4? Oh yeah, we can do 5. As long as we're close to each other, we'll be okay with that. So I'd like to see the city of Baltimore and other municipalities say, you know what, guys, you could do 25 people in a room. And we do a lot of reception style presentations. If you have a bridal shower or a baby shower or even a smaller wedding, we place the food out on communal tables and people can go serve themselves. We can't do that right now. It has to be table service or family style, if you will, where people are passing the food around. But again, there's a limitation on the number of people at a particular table at a particular time in a particular space. And that's a big constraint that takes away our events. So without events, we're really focused on takeout and delivery, and inside dining is going to come back slowly, very slowly, in my opinion.
Yeah, you probably don't know this because I haven't told you yet, but in the November issue, we have the COVID stories coming out, and you're one of them. You're one that submitted a beautiful story about what's happened in your restaurant, and in that story, you commended your relationship with the city. How have you been able to kind of foster that relationship and been able to work with the city on what's happening?
Well, here's we've been open 8 years at Verde, and the city of Baltimore at times has been reluctant to be user friendly. Since the middle of March, this is what the city of Baltimore has tried to do, which I commend them for. They've said, listen, guys, you want to expand your outdoor dining area? Just let us know. We're not going to charge any fees. We're going to expedite the permit process. You want to put these, they call them parklets. You want to move out into the street a little bit and put some dining in the street as long as you have proper barriers. We're not going to charge you permit fees. We're going to expedite the permits. And they've been very, very user friendly, if you will. The mayor of Baltimore City has been cautious about the percentage of indoor dining, which I hope that they'll revisit very soon because outdoor dining is going away. But those types of, put your arm around a small business and say, how can we help you? In the first 7-8 years that we've been here at Verde, Baltimore City has not been so user friendly. Recently, they've said, how can we help you? What do we need to do outside? What do we need to do inside? What are the steps that we could take to help you guys survive? Because in this town, restaurants are going out of business left and right. Mm-hmm. And it's scary because it's the state of the economy. It's people being reluctant to dine in and so many other things that go into, what are you going to do with your disposable income if you have any disposable income? So Baltimore City has allowed us to react to the changing situation faster than we were able to do. We used to have valet parking. We don't have valet parking anymore. Yeah. The suburbanites are really not coming down to the city. They don't want to dine indoors. They want to stay out in the suburbs and order in or just cook. So aside from the fact that, our bar business, I'll turn around, I'll show you our bar is kind of pretty empty. My son's eating lunch here, but that's okay. He's been gracious not to chew while I'm talking. But our bar is empty, and our bartenders have said to us, I'm really not comfortable sitting across the bar with somebody and they take their mask off and I got my mask on and we're 3 feet away from each other. So we've closed our bar. Our bar is takeout and delivery, basically. And then we have a dining space upstairs, a dining space in the back of the restaurant, and also downstairs and closer to the kitchen. So all these things we're trying to, juggle. Staff reluctance, consumer reluctance, city, changing rules and regulations. It's every day is a different challenge.
Speaking of the bar, I noticed, everybody was doing the pizza kits, but you guys are actually doing cocktail kits. I don't know if you're still doing those, but if you like, and had a nice little brochure with it, how to and whatnot. So yeah, if you'd like to tell the guys, tell everybody about the cocktail kit.
Now I'm going to let Evan speak to the cocktail kits because he was involved with our bartender a little bit closer than that. But
yeah, they were a lot of fun. We've shifted into now that we're open full time. That was a great holdover when we were doing mostly to go, and Baltimore City said like, oh yeah, as long as you have it in a sealed container, you can sell alcohol and let people walk away with it, which is another one of those like, we'll bend a little bit to make sure that you guys can, you know, because restaurants live and die by their bar sales, at least most of them. It's the margin you can't beat alcohol margins, but since we've opened, we've transitioned more to a we're gonna make the cocktail for you. We'll shake it, we'll stir it, we'll put it in a bag. Like we actually bought these bags that are made out of recyclable, biodegradable corn plastic that are 100% corn, and they're environmentally friendly. We have straws for the first time again because those are also made from corn. So it's been really cool to see Baltimore kind of flex a little bit and like bend on some of their more, you know, non-European rule sets as far as alcohol is concerned. It's become, hopefully it's something that transitions. I think everyone in America is a big fan of walking down the street with a beer, not being belligerently drunk, but like, you know.
Right. It's the very least they could do.
You know, it'd be nice to be able to walk around with a cider in my hand on a Saturday afternoon, just walk to the park with friends and have a drink, not get wasted and make a ruckus in the park.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that Baltimore City has done in terms of being flexible. So we're able to sell packaged goods, you know, that are closed in a sealed container or a bottle of a beer, if you will, or whatever. And as long as the consumer walks out of it and it's packaged and it's closed, you know, we're able to sell it to them. And then if they walk down the street, you know, la-di-da. But our, you know, our demographic, our client base has been pretty responsible across the board, whether it's, you know, social distancing or taking a cocktail to go, or what have you. They've been pretty gracious, and we appreciate that. So, you know, we're in this together. The one thing that I noticed about the consumer lately is I don't get this, which I used to get a lot. Oh, you know, my pizza didn't have enough basil on it, or my pizza didn't have enough sauce, or there was too much basil in this corner, or not enough. I don't get that anymore. It's like people are like, hey, we're really glad you're still open. Thanks for being here. I can come down the corner. I can sit down outside. You know, if I can use the word BS, and those are just initials, we don't get that as much anymore.
Yeah.
People are more gracious. And it's been a pleasure because restaurants try to be gracious, but you know, sometimes you can't please everybody. These days, we're pleasing just about everybody because they're understanding that, yeah, you know what? Food costs have gone up and regulations have gone up. And now with all these boxes that we have behind us, you can see them, you know, this is our bar area. It's become a to-go station. So the cost of packaging is added to our costs, and people are more gracious about that. Online orders, people are tipping on online orders, which is, you know, heretofore unprecedented. So it's been, you know, the community and the city have finally gotten to a point where they're saying, you know what, if we want to go out in 6 months and want to go to a nice place, we got to support the places that are still around. Otherwise, we're going to go have dinner at, you know, McDonald's somewhere or something like that. And that's just not what certainly our clientele want. So there's been an evolution of, you know, camaraderie when it comes to the guests and the restaurants. And it's been an easier sell with all limitations. Many of the restaurants in Baltimore City have reduced the amount of menu items that they're offering. In the pizza business, we've kept our full menu, quite frankly.
I was going to say, have you kept your full menu, or have you had to tweak anything?
We've kept our full menu. We were open for lunch in March and April because we wanted to expand our hours to at least get more sales. We've decided now recently in the last 2 months that we're just going to open our regular hours from 5 to 9 during the week, which is a little earlier than it used to be. We used to close at 10. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we're open from 12 in the afternoon until 9 at night. So hours have been reduced a little, but they're not as large as they were back in March, April, and May because we wanted more hours to hopefully get more sales. But the market's changed, and people are coming out, and people are ordering, and they've been more supportive locally, especially for restaurants like ourselves. And some of the other restaurants that are still in business. And we've lost a lot of good operators, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, with the pizza business, a lot of people want that normalcy. You know, it's not, there's not a lot of normal stuff going on right now, but you know, if you have your favorite pizza, that's a little bit of normalcy for one night.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, we have a lot of families in our community that come out, and we used to have specials on Wednesday nights for children, especially under 10, where they got a free pizza. And now those kids are like 15 and 16, and their childhood memory of pizza, I can tell you about mine, but we'll be here all day. But their childhood memory of pizza is Verde. And you know, we've established that, you know, that continuity with various generations, whether it's senior night or whatever it is. And you're right, people get that comfort level of going back to where they used to go in the old days, which happens to be February of this year. And then just, you know, just getting some sort of sense of normalcy. So, and that's been hard to accomplish, believe me, for many people. I know a lot of my friends don't want to go to restaurants. You know, I'm in my 60s, so they're like, you know, we're really not comfortable. Let's get burgers and bring them in, or let's cook at home, or make a pasta dish or whatever. And then I'm always like, well, why don't we just go out and get some pizza? But that's a cheap advertisement on my part. So it's a tough marketplace right now, and whenever you hear about another restaurant closing, you know, it's disheartening, because I know they're trying hard, like we are, and some of the menus are just not conducive to delivery and takeout. So they struggle in a different way, and we've been struggling in our own ways too.
Well, you're serving a Neapolitan product, which for, you know, the longest time, it was a lot of Neapolitan pizzas struggled with delivery. They just didn't deliver well. And it seems like you've got that down, where your product is delivering really well, and takeout is really well with the product as well.
Well, here's what you hear, and I hear it on my reviews. Oh, I got the pizza, it was cold. So my response to that is, listen, when that pizza comes out of the oven, it's 850 degrees. Now, we put it in the box and it's ready to go in like 3 minutes. What happens between when we give that pizza to somebody to deliver it to you and when you get it to eat it is a whole different story. And there's certain things that we can control. We wouldn't do delivery back in the day because of, like you said, Neapolitan pizza doesn't really travel as well as a Chicago pie that can, you know, you can send it across the country, for God's sakes, and it'll still be tasty. But our pizzas don't travel very well. But at some point in time, you know, you gotta follow the economics, and delivery is a very important part of what we do these days. So, you know, we let people know how to reheat a pizza very well. We're coming out with new batches that will have reheating instructions on them, just so that they can achieve a proximity to the flavor profile that we feel is best right here at Verde. But, you know, it's a means to an end, and delivery is an important part of what all pizza restaurants are doing. So we're in that game, and we're in it for the long run, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, definitely in it for the fall and the winter. That's for darn sure. Well, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time from your day to talk to us about Verde and what's happening there. And we wish you guys the best. And you know, just hang in there. We'll get back to some sort of new normalcy, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know what the new normal is going to be, but whatever it is, I hope that we're part of it.
Right.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for
Best of
coming
luck,
on the
guys.
show.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Bye.